Mykhailo Samus. I am director of New Geopolitics Research Network, and I am talking today about Zapad 2021, joint Russia-Belarus strategic exercise, which is already in the active preparations. The first trains carrying Russian troops and hardware have arrived in Belarus on 21st of July as part of preparations for this exercise. Is it too early to bring Russian troops to the Belarus territory, as the exercise itself officially will take place September 10-16th? Actually, Zapad is traditional Soviet and Russian strategic military exercise since 1977, which has main goal to improve the practical skills of commanders and staffs for strategic operations by Soviet coalition forces on Western strategic direction. Originally, it was Warsaw Pact. Now it's a regional group of force for Russia and Belarus. So it's really special kind of Russian military exercise even compared to other strategic ones like Kavkaz, East or Center, which mostly concentrated on mobility, movement of force, logistics, mobilization, etc. on one of strategic directions. But Zapad always focusing on the practice of new doctrines, concept and tactics. Zapad 2021 will take place in special situation in Belarus with Lukashenko regime under international isolation and sanctions, which create favorable conditions for Russia to strengthen own influence in Belarus. Additionally, it looks like Russia will try to use Zapad 2021 to deploy own troops on Belarus territory under official explanation of activities of new joint military structures. First of all, Russia announced that the Air Force of Russia and Belarus will begin joint air defense missions on the Belarus territory this summer. In addition, Belarus and Russia have agreed to establish 3 shared combat training centers within the framework of bilateral strategic partnership program for 2021-2025. One of these facilities, a joint combat training center of the Air Force and Air Defense Forces, will be located on the territory of Belarus in Grodno region. Russia will host the other 2 combat training centers, one of them in Nizhny Novgorod for land forces training and Kaliningrad oblast for special force training. It's possible to predict that during Zapad 2021 will be the huge movement of the forces from Russia to Belarus and from Belarus to Russia, with explanation of using of all of these training centers. According to the open sources, Russian forces will arrive to the several destinations and almost of the entire territory of Belarus. There will be 5 areas of arrival for Zapad 2021: Minsk, Vitebsk, Mogilov, Brest, and Grodno. In the same time, Belarus military units will arrive to Russia for the station Ilyino, Nizhny Novgorod Oblast, probably for the joint combat training center in Nizhny Novgorod for land forces training. And second Russian station for Belarus forces is Ashuluk in Astrakhan Oblast, located near the military training ground for air defense units. Short forecast for Zapad 21, which will happen 10 and 16 September. It will be again a new approach for the Russian General Staff to conduct strategic operation on the western direction together with Belarus troops and using Belarus territory. For many years, Russia has been pushing Belarus to deepen military cooperation up to deploying Russian military bases on Belarus territory. It looks like the long discussing story about Russian military bases in Belarus may now come true. Besides joint air defense missions on the Belarus territory and shared combat training center in Grodno region, it was officially announced that Russia and Belarus will deploy joint signal intelligence and electronic intelligence posts on Belarus border with Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, and Ukraine. The migration crisis, which was created by Belarus on the Lithuanian border, probably will add to the scenario of the exercise some new elements which will explain activities of Belarus and Russian military units in the area close to borders with Baltic states. And during exercise Zapad 2017, Belarus and Russia used fictional states like Vyshnoria to explain counter-offensive operations on the territory of Baltic states and Suwalki Gap. So this time they could use the same approach. Russians will pay special attention to the training of new created 18th Motorized Rifle Division of 11th Army Corps in Kaliningrad enclave. It is clear that new division was created after lessons of Zapad 2017, when so-called Suwalki Gap case made a lot of noise both in NATO and Russia. Obviously, 18th Motorized Rifle Division will have main priority and goal to seize Suwalki Gap between Poland and Lithuania, to cut NATO links of communications and logistics with Baltic states before NATO troops and even main Russian forces will arrive to this territory through Belarus. Officially proclaimed that Zapad 2021 will focus on combating cruise missiles and unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as on fire and electronic warfare activities against enemy formations, ways to train airborne troops, vertical envelopment capability, and rapidly shift between military activities. From my point of view, this will be one of the main tasks for Zapad 2021, to check readiness of Russian and Belarus troops to conduct network-centric operations by itself and act against enemies which use network-centric warfare approach. Definitely, it will be a challenge for NATO and Ukraine to keep this level of competition with Russia, taking into consideration that next conflicts will be a collision of opposing systems designed especially to achieve goals on battlefield and with organization of an artificial intelligence at strategic, operational, and tactical levels. Generally, during and after Zapad 2021, we will see the intensive process of unification and absorption of the Belarus armed forces by the Russian armed forces. And even it won't be probably officially established permanent Russian military base on the Belarus territory. But in reality, for Kremlin, it will be even more success, because Russia will use all of Belarus territory and all of Belarus armed forces as own facilities and own instruments. Thank you.